And India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj has made a statement in Tokyo saying India's foreign policy is not dictated by countries or blocs. Sushma Swaraj reminds the world it didn't even close North Korean embassy, so it has no reason to join the list of countries expelling Russian diplomats. Swaraj insists India's interests are paramount in deciding foreign policy.
Financial year 18-19 and more to fund the nurses' pay settlement when that is resolved.
Here we go then, Mr. Speaker.
अमेरिका ने कहा डीपीआरके में एम्बेसीज बंद हो जानी चाहिए, तो हमने कहा नहीं, हमारी अपनी स्वतंत्र नीति है। अगर आपको कल कोई बातचीत नहीं करनी तो कोई तो चैनल चाहिए बात करने का, हम एम्बेसी बंद नहीं करेंगे। अभी भी रशियन डिप्लोमेट्स निकाले जा रहे हैं, लेकिन भारत जब भी अपनी नीति तय करता है, मूल मंत्र है राष्ट्रहित सर्वोपरि।
And to give us more details on this story, I'm now joined in by our correspondent Raghavendra, who's joining us live from the newsroom. Raghavendra, if we analyze what Sushma Swaraj has just stated, it of course is a very, very fiercely independent statement coming there on behalf of India, right?
Absolutely, Akanksha, and this is just a clear-cut assertion of what has been India's stance for many, many decades. India has maintained a non-aligned position from all the major power blocs in the world. And the fact that India's foreign minister is now asserting that India will take its own call in matters like these, particularly, she was referring to the expulsion of Russian diplomats by so many countries. Now, over 20 countries have expelled Russian diplomats, and also the fact that she also talked about the fact that the embassy of North Korea, it continues to function in India, despite the US and other countries imposing sanctions against the Kim Jong-un regime. So this is a clear assertion of India's policy, India's external affairs policy, that it will not be dictated by what other nations, what other countries are doing, but it will be independent as it has always been.
Right. Also, the expulsion of the Russian diplomats has been happening, at a global level now. How do you see Sushma Swaraj's statements in terms of defining the relationship vis-a-vis Russia and US at the moment?
Well, Akanksha, India traditionally has had very good relations with Russia, even the erstwhile USSR. But there was a time when the Indo-US relations were not that great. Things appear to have changed to quite a degree in the past few years, while the closeness between India and the United States has grown steadily. India's relationship with Russia, it has come to a lukewarm level, so to say. But even then, Russia continues to be a trusted partner. India has had a very good history with Russia, be it in strategic cooperation, defense or military cooperation. And India has always looked at Russia as an ally and vice versa as well. The fact that India is choosing to pursue its external affairs policies independently without getting influenced by big power blocs like the US clearly goes on to underline the mindset which exists within the Indian government. They do not want to be towing anybody's line. They want to safeguard their own interests. They want to have their one-on-one equations with all the countries in the world. That is also reflected in India's policy towards Israel and Palestine. So, these things put together, it's clearly an assertion, and it is underlining the fact that India will not tow anybody's line and is an independent country and will have its relations with all these countries on case-to-case basis and on merit.
Right. Coming to the controversy of the poisoning of spy Sir Sergei Skripal, basically, how do you see this controversy escalating further? Because the expulsion of the Russian diplomats has been taking place, stemming out of this controversy. It's certainly becoming a global issue now at the moment.
Well, indeed, Akanksha, and the fact that the UK was the first country to have begun the expulsion of Russian diplomats following this entire episode involving Kripal. That has set off a chain reaction of sorts. Now we are witnessing multiple countries expelling Russian diplomats. Russia has also said that it will retaliate by similar expulsions in full measure. Now it seems to be brewing into a diplomatic crisis. It seems to be brewing into an international crisis. At that time, in such times, a statement like this coming from India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, it's clearly, it's clearly an indication to many other countries who can, if I may take the liberty, be called fence sitters at the moment, because in the world order today, in the global world order today, yes, there is a tendency for smaller countries to toe the line of bigger powers, bigger economic powers, bigger defense powers, military powers rather, and that tendency at times leads to the way in which these smaller countries conduct themselves. But the fact that Sushma Swaraj has clearly enunciated India's stance and position, that may also lead to a situation where many other countries may emulate India or may try to emulate India in devising their own foreign policies.
Right, that's a very valid point you've made out there, Raghavan. Thank you so much for bringing us this quick update on the story.